Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today for this week's ArcheAge Friday livestream. My name is Mervly Kwai, I'm also known as Crolin. I'm a senior producer for ArcheAge. Alongside me today I have Sophie Pickens, her name is Sock. She is a localization tester for ArcheAge. And over Skype is Miss Serafina Celestrata Brennan, she's our senior community manager. What's going on, guys? Good to see you. How are things going?
Good to see you. Good to see you. Say my name 5 times fast. Go.
Celestrata. Good enough?
Whoa! And this is why
That
Sophie
was
is
not
better than all of us.
rehearsed.
Practiced all night.
Yeah, I know. You knew I was gonna do that. You just knew it in your heart. You got ready for this moment.
I
That
knew it was
moment
gonna
just
come
happened.
eventually one day, and I was prepared for it.
Well, I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys doing?
Not
Great.
too bad.
Excited.
Just have a lot of events coming up, so we're kind of just getting ready for that. And
Yeah, I was gonna
excited.
I always start off with, what are you guys doing in ArcheAge? Let's skip to the chase. Sophie's better than all of us. That's just the way it is.
What?
She's just got Delphinods out of her ears, just turning them into Ionods left and right. She's just
I
so pro.
wish. Where can I sign up for that?
I don't know. Every time I look in the chat, you're just like, oh, look, Prof, this glowing Delph again. GG. It's no big guy. It's only got 4 of them.
I'm kind of too cheap to go up to Ionad at this point, so I'm happy with my Delph set. I got it all to Divine during the last event, so satisfied for now.
Yeah, celery. Wow. Everyone's calling me celery. It's taken them long enough. They used to call me celery all the time in
Oh,
old
that's a
games.
good
So.
one.
Celery?
Celery? Nice.
Celery.
Celery.
They always
Good.
called me celery
I'll
because
remember
it's
that.
easy. But we're traveling. You guys are traveling really soon. I'm not traveling. I'm staying home. But you guys are going to Gamescom.
Yep, we'll be in Gamescom next week in Cologne, Germany, and excited to see you guys who will join us on Friday night. There's an announcement up about that. We're going to have a hangout session and kind of get to know you guys. If you have time to come out, we'd love to see you.
Yep, we talked about it last week. If you are in the Cologne area and you'll be hanging out until Friday, we want to see you. We will be at Deutzer Brauhaus, and we will be there from 8:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m.
Correct.
Just talking about ArcheAge. You can
And,
talk to Merv. You can talk to Sophie in German
Don't
because
be
Sophie.
shy. Yes, I was gonna say, even if your English is maybe not the best, please come and hang out with us. I can translate for you guys if you need it. Please come. It'll be really fun. Free
Yep.
beer,
Just hang out.
free
Just
snacks.
free beer, free snacks.
And it's
Awesome.
right next to the train station and next to like where the hall is. So
Yeah, it's a good spot, and it'll
you
be a
know.
lot of fun.
Yep.
So
Plus those posters.
Yep.
Those posters
Oh
are
my
so
God,
good.
yes.
So hype. But today we are focusing all of our efforts almost exclusively on the August update, which is coming out next Wednesday. And that has a bunch of changes in it. Many of them are highly anticipated, but there's 2 big ones. I will get to the second in a moment because I think people are going to be very excited. But let's start with the first, and that's the event timer split, which has been a huge ongoing effort over the last couple months.
Yep, and we're going to jump in game. We are on an internal server today, and that's to show off some events, but we'll just have gameplay running while we talk about things that will happen very soon. So the August update is scheduled for Wednesday of next week, and it's being pushed to PTS right now for you guys who want to get a look at it. There's not too many new systems coming into play. However, the 2 highlights are the introduction of the schedule separation. PTS will have the NA schedule on it when it goes live in about an hour or 2. If you guys saw Celestrata's forum post detailing the schedule differences and some of the minor changes that will be rolled out at the same time, those are available on the forums. But it's been through pretty extensive testing so far, and we're really happy with how it's turned out. So we're excited to see that next week.
Yeah, I'm really excited too. We've been getting a lot of feedback. We know some North American players would like the schedule to be a bit later, but we were talking about that back and forth in chat the other day, right?
Yeah, and there's EU is easier to manage when it comes to kind of being flexible with the schedule, and that's mostly due to the range of time zones being serviced there being smaller than for NA. NA actually has a lot of different time zones to consider, not just continental US. So we kind of extend that out and ensure that the most important things like sieges and the pinnacle events in Apex or in ArcheAge occur during the prime time for most players. So while there is some flexibility, and we absolutely take your feedback on that stuff, this is what we're going to be launching with next week, and then we'll kind of evaluate when we see it in action and live.
Right. And I mean, I saw a couple, even the Australian players were like, well, this isn't perfect for us either. It's happening at weird times for us. And it's kind of like, no matter which way you push it, someone gets the sharp end of the stick, basically, and gets poked in a weird way due to the way the time zones end up falling. So we're trying to make sure we can position it as well as possible for like a wide variety of people.
Yep.
But that, of course, with all of the different regions, the North American server services, it's super, super difficult. And I'm certain, like, no one, it's hard to get everyone into that really, really happy state because someone will be in a bad state then.
Yep.
So always fun and always difficult time zones. But we also have other things in the update. And what else is hiding in the update besides these two major changes that we had just alluded to?
Well, the second major one is the introduction of the skill queue. So
you're just going for it. You're going all the way.
Yep, skill queue is coming back. It'll also be on PTS. Now, this version of the skill queue has gone through testing on our ETS server over the last 2 months. I'm very grateful for the ArcheAge players from all over the world that helped contribute to testing ping times on our ETS servers. It's our best version of it so far. I mentioned before that it's definitely not perfect. But we're at the point now where we can't make any more changes to it until we see how it performs in the live environment. So our goal is to release the skill queue in its current version on live, and we're kind of going to be in this live testing mode for about a month. And what that means is we have measures in place to actively collect data on what's exactly happening with skill queue and the way that skills are being used, how lag is being managed, and it's our goal to collect that data over the next month. And then we have the flexibility now to make changes on a quicker timescale with regard to that system. So a lot of the things that we've been doing for the last 2 months for skill queue and events separation is making the ArcheAge system more variable, right? Like we have the ability to change things in a way that is less code intensive, so we have a quicker turnaround cycle on it. So that's a goal, and there'll be a forum post to accompany that. The goal is to have it in your guys' hands for a month. Now, we've also talked about, and this is some great feedback, the ability to toggle between NA and Korean skills within the game client. And that's something that we'd like to do. It's a little bit challenging, though. That sort of functionality is also an additional request. But it's something that we can consider. So ideally, we need to see how the localized versions of the rapid-fired skills perform while the skill queue is active at scale. So this is where we're at, and this is going to be, I mentioned earlier, next week, Wednesday, is when this will be going live.
Right. So I did see some questions coming up in the chat already. Like one person's like, wait, what is skill queue? And then someone else is like, are the Korean versions of skills going to be included as well?
Yes. Yep, so, that's a good question. Yes. So skill queue does involve Korean skills being added as well, and those are the 4 rapid-fire skills. That would be Endless Arrows, Monostars, Triple Slash, and Rapid Strike. The North American and European localized versions of those skills combine them into a single button press equals multiple actions. The Korean versions of those skills change it to 1 button press equals 1 action. The reason that's cool is you have the opportunity to kind of like weave and alternate skills and then quickly react and not be locked in a global cooldown. That's kind of an inherent balance assumption that ArcheAge makes when it comes to skills use. So it's been our goal over the last year, and we've tried with much difficulty to introduce Korean skills. So this is yet another attempt at that.
Right. And when they're in, it's going to be hopefully super exciting. And people also with skill queue should get a lot more benefit from when they're playing in fast-paced combat. So those of you who may experience like a couple delays here and there due to how far away you are from your home server, whether that's in Dallas for North America or that's in Amsterdam for the Europeans amongst us, you should experience also better combat in general when skill queue goes in, not just in the Korean skills alone. So we're looking forward to everyone's feedback on that. And of course, we'll be keeping our eye on it just in case.
I can't help but be distracted and laugh as Sock waters trees or whatever she's doing over there. Like, if you ever see somebody on a skateboard flying off of a cliff with water on their back, it's probably her.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Doing dailies, okay?
You should be. So yeah, that's super exciting. If you guys, obviously tell your friends. There's going to be more information on the testing of SkillQ in the forums later today, as well as an official discussion thread. So that way, once this does go live, we can collect your feedback and get everyone's thoughts on how it's performing within a thread. And as you mentioned, there's many other mechanisms within the servers themselves that will be monitoring how SkillQ is functioning. So all very, very exciting stuff. And we also have a couple new limited time events coming in with the August update too, which I think, Sok, you were prepared when you're not watering trees to talk about.
So the main reason why we are on this environment is just so I can bring those events up really quick. The first one I want to talk about is Bagheera's Lost Treasure, which is going to be a event. When it starts, you'll get a divine clock, and after X minutes, you'll be able to claim a wrapped treasure rod. The rod is going to be good for 30 minutes, and once you do get it, let me find a Mirage portal, you'll be able to go and fish for treasures in Mirage. Now, I hate to tell you that I am terrible with lore, so I don't know what to tell you, how come it's there. I do know Bagheera is a gambler, so I assume, I don't know, tripped in Mirage and lost all its treasure, now you go fish for it. And very similar to the event that you had back in December, it's basically you go and you get really awesome stuff from fishing this time. So let me go ahead and go down to the water. Let's speed this up a little bit.
And I think you're a little bit quiet, so if you just kind of want to yell
I'm quiet.
so everybody can
Okay,
hear
sorry.
you.
All right, so I do have my fishing rod that I got claimed from my divine clock. Once it's unwrapped, it starts ticking down to 30 minutes. There is going to be a level requirement to using this rod. I believe it's level 30. So, but once you do have the rod, it's going to be the same as you use to fishing. I have my rod equipped right now, so I'll go ahead and start fishing. There's two things initially that you can get from the water. One of them are time catcher tokens, which can be exchanged with a Daru for a waterlock chest, lockbox. The other thing is the lockbox itself. So if you're lucky, you'll be able to get those lockboxes, and the content of those it's huge. Same like the boxes during Christmas. You can have a whole bunch of stuff in there, which is really, really cool. Some of the most notable things are mysterious garden powder that can drop from that chest. You can also get Lord's coins from that chest, and warrior medals, honor, merit, charms, and lucky points. Just a little bit of everything. So a huge variety of things. The other thing, maybe you guys remember during Christmas, there was one really, really, really cool drop, which was the reindeer at the time. So for this event, you also have a very special drop, which is very, very rare to get. But if you do get it, it's a full kit of a tile bungalow. And the full kit means that it's already fully built, so you can just place it and it's completely done for you. So if you're really, really lucky, you can get that too.
Okay, so let me get this straight.
Yes.
I click the divine clock. I
Yes.
get the fishing rod.
Yes.
I go to Mirage.
You go fishing.
I auto fish.
Yes.
And then I win.
And then you win.
Okay.
So it's 30 minutes of you guys not doing anything but fish for treasure chests. So let's go ahead and take a look. So those treasure chests that you get.
And the version we have, you're not consuming worms while you're fishing either.
I am not consuming worms or labor at the
Yep,
moment.
and we need to confirm that on
Yeah.
PTS later today because that's the the more proper version. But for what we see, you're not using bait worms while you're doing this.
Yeah.
So pretty much have fun spam fishing.
Yep. So it's free gifts that you can get every day. So you got some fragments, some merit badges. The other thing too, if you don't, so your tokens that you get, you can turn them in to the Daru in exchange for one of those chests. However, if you do save them up, you can also get the earring, necklace, and ring that some of you might know that fish on Saturdays during the Mirage event. Those you can get with the fisher coins that you get there. So with 200 or 300 of those tokens that you can fish out, you can also get those if you prefer having those accessories.
Okay, but wait, what if I prefer having the mythic jewelry that you're wearing?
Then you pray to RNG, sacrifice some lambs, walk backwards for a week and pray, and then maybe...
And then YOLO some epics?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, never mind.
You guys
But that's
send a
not
video
part
of you
of the
doing
event. I'm
that.
sorry, this is like me and my stuff.
Sorry, I'm just distracted. Whenever you see that like red color, you're like,
Yeah.
whoa, what is that?
Here, do you want to cry?
I also
I
saw
can make
somebody...
you cry.
No, please don't. No,
No.
it's too painful.
That hurts me too.
So someone in chat also asked what you're wearing.
I'm wearing the Doshul plate set from Mist Song. I personally love this
Also
one.
in Mythic. Okay.
Yeah, of course. This
I'm jelly
this
right
is
now.
internal, you guys. So this is like dreamland. I do what I can on life on this environment, which is like have this full plate set at Mythic.
Mythic Mist Marrow armor.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I love it. I think it's one of the coolest, prettiest looks, also for girls.
That's when you know
So-
you're on an
Yes.
internal server.
Yes, everything is Mythic.
Yeah.
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 But so those are the things that you can get out of the fishing event, plus Bagheera's treasure.
Cool.
The second event I want to talk about is...
Can you mouse over your Mythic buff real quick? Sorry, totally distracted. Nice.
Yeah, I
Okay.
wish.
All right. Great.
Mine is divine. I have a divine plate armor buff. That's
Mythic sock. Got it.
It's just-
So, fishing event. Go fish for half an hour, get free stuff. Yay, happy, cool.
yeah, people want to know what the sword and weapon were too.
What?
People want to know what the sword and weapon were
Oh,
too.
so
Avalon.
the-
Red Dragon.
Red
I just wanna know the
Dragon
whole thing.
stuff. Yes. So again, Mythic Red Dragon weapon. Yeah, right. This is internal, so that's why. And then like my dream accessories, Iron Out, Lightning, and Wave, everything at Mythic. So you know, maybe if I sell my soul to Satan or something, I'll be able to one day get any of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now that
Okay.
we've thoroughly distracted you, you were going to talk about something else.
Yes. Oh, one last thing. I don't know if maybe I'm the only person that's excited about this, but Taffy is coming back. So that Taffy we were able to get from the boxes during the Christmas event too. So those are coming back, and I love those, and I can't wait to get some of
That's
those.
the pumpkin taffy, right?
I think so.
Oh, that was
rainbow
rainbow.
color looking.
Yes.
Rainbow,
color.
Rainbow
pumpkin
pumpkin.
taffy. You're both right.
Cool.
Okay, so this is the first event. The second event I want to talk about will be taking place in Miss Marrow. So we have more stuff added after Miss Marrow goes into peace. So after it goes into peace, you guys already know there's the Hereafter Gates, and then Kadoom will spawn once the Hereafter Gates are down. Once Kadoom is down, you'll be able to get 3 new quests from a masked Daru that's going to show up at the faction headquarters. So that's where you get the quest, you head back to Miss Marrow. And there's going to be a spawn of 6 mobs. They each spawn in sets of 2. One of them being... Are they here?
Hacker.
Maybe. There you go, there they are. So the first mob that spawns is an enraged Tuskbark. The other one you might recognize from past events is a Red Dragon Hatchling. And the whole point of this quest, you didn't have those, is, as you can see, kill them. They spawn in 3 locations. It's going to be right between the northwest and northeast basin. The other one is going to be between the west and southwest basin, and the other spawn is going to be here between east and southeast basin. And it's probably just to make sure that there's enough mobs for everybody can complete their quests.
Glycus, I'm glad you asked what happens if you're on a server that doesn't regularly kill Kadoom.
If you can't bring down Kadoom, then after a set amount of time, they're going to spawn regardless. So you can speed up the whole process of having them spawn by killing Kadoom. If you can't or don't want to do it, they will spawn after a certain amount of time by themselves.
And the time should be set to 30 minutes right
I
now.
believe it's 30 minutes.
Yes.
But I am not 100% sure. That's something I wasn't able to verify yet on our environment.
Yeah, and so when I see an event like this, I'm like, okay, so there's a red dragon
Yep.
and a really big tree just
Yep.
hanging out in Miss Marrow.
Yes.
And that's kind of like a Royal Rumble thing going on. Do those two fight, or is it
I
like...
wish they were like fighting each other, but then you wouldn't have to do anything, right? So they're just best buds. They found each other. Like Kadoom and Red Dragon hanging out, and they're like, yeah.
I do see Arxenor has asked, those stars, are these like world bosses?
They are, I mean, you can see at their health,
Yeah.
they are not the easiest task to take down, but assuming that everybody on the server shows up to do that, it's going to be fairly quick to take them down.
Yeah, and I
Yes.
mean, they're not that strong. It's just like the goal is to kind of just have you
Right.
guys fight something else after Kadoom. And while take advantage of Miss Marrow while it's in peace and just kind of, you know, give you guys an opportunity to win some really cool rewards. I think that's kind of the crown of this event. From what we saw is you earn tokens, and then you can trade those in for serendipity stones. Those are the big winners. There's been a lot of requests to make them available through a method other than login badges for quite some time, and now you can do that with this event. I believe you can get up to 3 from the event if you spend all of your tokens on that and do it regularly?
Yes.
Right.
You
You
can
can just go back. So that's the other cool thing about it. You can do this event 3 times a day. So every time after Miss Marrow ends, you can go and attend this. So it's not like you do it once per day and you're done. You can go back up to 3 times if you like. And then, you know, to get your max amount of tokens and then get your serendipity stones, as many as you like. If you don't want those, there's also other cool rewards like Dune's Blessing is coming back with that as well. So if you are planning on regrading something, Dune's Blessing will be available for you too. I personally love the fact that you get honor for this. So every time you kill them, you can get honor. So if you participate once in this event, you can get 4 tokens, 400 honor, and 10 prestige as well for this token right here.
Yep, and people are asking 3 times a day. Yes, so even though there are 3 different spawns of these per Mist Marrow, you can only really do one of them. The minute you've contributed to a kill and the kill is confirmed, the quest will auto-complete and then give you a debuff that will stop you from taking the quest again for another 2 hours, basically.
Correct.
You can retrieve that quest, by the way, from any one of the masked Darus hiding out in your faction base. So that means Marianople, Ostera, and Growlgate will be the places you go to get the quest. Remember to get the quest before going to Mist Marrow, otherwise you won't be able to get the kill confirmation on these 2 extra monsters.
Correct.
Very, very important.
So this is pretty much a Miss Marrow event in a nutshell. There's not that much to it other than go kill stuff, get awesome stuff.
Yep. And I honestly, the Dune's Blessings and the
Serendipity stones is the big thing, yeah.
So good.
I think I had like 1 from the previous event and then never again another one, so this is really cool.
Awesome. Let's talk about fireworks.
Oh, okay, yes!
So there's one more. We should also mention that these 2 events will be happening between the launch of the August update, which is next week, and then they'll go all the way to August 31st. And as always, they turn off at midnight GMT. So they'll turn off midday for North American players and midnight for European players.
To answer some of the questions from chat, they're easier than Kadoom from what I've seen. They definitely don't have the damage throughput, which is one of the main issues for Kadoom. Because then if he didn't have that throughput, then he just takes a long time to kill. These are very similar, and they're designed for you to kill and not be that big of a deal. Right. So that's kind of the goal with that. I saw one more question. Tags or parties necessary. It happens during Miss Marrow Peace, so the quest should be completed based on just participating in the event.
Yeah, you just need to tag it. It was specifically called out in the event guide.
Yep. So the last event is actually going to be fairly late this month, but I just wanted to show 1 or 2 things because it's really cool and I'm impatient and just really want you guys to see. So it's going to be the Shadowguard Festival, which is going to honor, which is going to take part in Falkirth Plains. Basically, the festival is about getting rid of bad spirits, bringing good luck to the people, and basically you'll be doing mostly stuff with fireworks during this event. So make fireworks, deliver them, shoot them, hey, yay, hooray. But there's one really cool aspect about this event that I'm really excited about. It's for some reason you managed to open up a Crimson Rift in Falkirth Plains. So once that Crimson Rift opens, you are already used to that. You see like your hordes, your 3 waves of mobs that come out and you have to kill. And then after that, the Hound of Curios spawns, right? That's your regular Crimson Rift that you do every day. So this version is slightly different. So Anthalon was really bad and he corrupted some really good people, one of them being a giant Daru. So instead of the Hound of Curios, you'll be fighting a giant Daru, which I love because it's like the best ever.
Aloran 2015, yes it will.
Yes.
What was that question?
The question was, will Falkirth be in peace for this?
Oh,
the
yes.
answer is yes. And hopefully at the same time the event starts, huh? That'd be great.
The only reason it is not is because we're internal and the event is not really fully set up, so...
This is ridiculous.
So that's one of the really cool things I was impatient to show. The other one was just really quick to go over is a really cool rewards. One of my favorite new things that I can't wait to show
confirmed. Daru coming out of the Crimson Rift.
Yes. That's not the only one. There's also a green man and there's a giant bard. So if you're mad at the bard that his guy is like not really helpful at all during all the events, now you can take, revenge on him and punish him for being so useless.
We have lost Serafina.
And we are DC'd.
Oh no. No.
Check out Skype.
Rip.
Okay.
On Twitch. We are still going with Twitch at the moment.
What's up, guys? We're
Oh
DC'd.
no! Okay, I was not supposed to show you those rewards, I guess.
Cool. Well, you can see our beautiful Tryon screen. And let's just talk about other stuff. I'm going to carry.
Okay,
All right?
carry.
Here's what we're going to talk about. So we plan today to answer some of your Q&A. And in general, you guys post questions on the forum. So we'll do that as soon as Serafina comes back. But what I'm going to talk about now is what's available in the upcoming updates. I think it's important that you guys, I know you ask questions about this all the time, and you guys want to know what's going to happen in the next couple months. So let's talk about the September update. September, as you know, is ArcheAge's second birthday. We'll be turning 2. And we have a reasonable game update to bring to you guys. And I'd like to talk about some of the features that will be included there. Now, I don't have deep details, and we can't really show them off yet because we're not at that point. But one of the first things that will be available starting in September is the ability to sort your teleport books and even favorite locations in your teleport books.
I cannot wait.
It's something that's been requested a long time ago. It's kind of a smaller thing, but it's a big quality of life improvement. You can actually add favorites and then kind of sort. You can't shift around the positions, but you can filter, and you can have a decent amount of teleport locations saved. So that's great. Another quality of life change that we're adding in September is the ability to kind of set permissions on the way you auto-roll for loot. So if you're in a group and you're so sick of Obsidian components
Click,
spamming you,
click.
you have the ability to auto-roll on everything or auto-pass on everything. So that's,
can't
again, just
wait.
another one of those small quality of life things. The loot master in the group will be able to determine set permissions on that sort of thing, and then you can customize your individual preferences. So you can totally skip. Now, it's not a super deep level of customization. You can't say only roll on this thing and not this other thing, but it kind of gives you at least the ability to ignore it, which would make me super happy.
I roll on
So,
everything
yes.
anyway, so, if I can just click one button and everything gets rolled on, I'm super happy about that.
Yeah, you basically ninja loot? Is that what
Yeah.
you just said? Okay.
No!
Or
What?
You said
No.
you roll on everything. That means, if a
Because
bow
I'm
drops, you're like,
entitled to
mine.
everything.
Okay, fine. All right. Next thing for September, we have, this is something that people have been asking for a long time, and we're trying to make it better than even the current version that we have, and that's submarines. So one of the things that XL has agreed to is increasing the movement speed bonus that the tail fin on the submarine provides.
Cool.
And so we'll see an increase to that in September. We're also pushing to get an overall speed increase for submarines to finally bring them in line with some of the other mounts and boats that have been released. So big push to try and get submarines in line for the September update. Couple more things, and this is just a very light feature list, and these are some of the smaller features in the September update. But we will have underwear in ArcheAge. So that empty slot that you have not been wearing underwear for the last 2 years can finally have some undergarments. Now, the underwear system will have stats, and they are crafted in-game using in-game things. They can be enchanted with lunastones, as you've read on previous lunastones, and the stats are minor. The underwear system is not nearly as deep as the costume system, but you will finally be able to wear underwear, and I'm very proud. I hope you all put underwear on. That would be a great thing. Again, all of the
We've been
stuff that I'm
going
talking about for
commando
the
for 2
last,
years.
3 minutes feature blast. This is targeting for September. This is our anniversary update. And again, just talking about some of the smaller things. Another cool thing that will be included, we have the ability now to kind of add a glow effect to weapons that are of high grades. So starting in September, if you have weapons that are of divine grade or higher, they will begin to attract this unique glow quality. And so they glow the color of the grade that they are. So if you see somebody who's wielding that kind of really pretty light blue-gray color, it's safe to assume that that's an epic weapon. Or a legendary weapon, or if you see that deep red surrounding their weapon, you probably should run.
I
That's
can't
awesome.
wait.
It's gonna
That's
look
so
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll have some great kind of screenshots of that. We'll be able to show that off on a stream as we get closer. Now, September is still a month off. One of the reasons I'm talking about this now is because we'll be out of town for some of the live streams, and I just kind of want to give you guys this information before we leave. It's still really early for us. Another thing that will be coming out in September is a new system called Stat Migration. The Stat Migration basically allows you to take your character's base stats that they have when they're not wearing any gear and kind of take away from one stat and give to a secondary stat. So what that allows you to do is further customize your character's base stats. And it's called stat migration because it's a slower process where you take from one stat and add to another. So, you know, if you're a dark runner, maybe you want to slowly migrate into strength, or a healer might want to migrate into spirit, mage to int, and so on. More details on that system as it's available, but this is sort of an in-game thing that you can do to kind of migrate your stats. And then the last thing, this is a headliner for September. There are 3 headliners for September, but I'm only going to talk about one of them. This is what's known as the Free-for-All Arena as far as the design name goes. Now, this is an update that was provided in XL's 3.0 Korean version, and we're actually going to be adding it to NA and EU early. And you guys will have the opportunity to play the Free-for-All Arena in September. This is a new arena type. It's customizable. We could allow between 8 to 12 players to participate at the same time. You basically queue for that arena, and it's a free-for-all. So it's last man standing. Rewards go to the top players who get the most kills. Everybody gets honor for participating. There are some PvE objectives throughout that fight. I'm sure you guys have seen in the Korean version, like probably it's set in the Miss Song Summit kind of area. So it has visuals that are similar to that. But we're going to be bringing that into our version before 3.0. And I'm excited about that. We're also considering how you enter that arena, if it's going to be limited with Bruiser's badges. My goal is to have it unlimited access because, yeah, I think it's better, and we need to ensure that we can have the queue to support that. Because that's a concern when you're queuing like these 10-person arenas like 5v5s. If it manages to pop, you know, like there's long delays on that. So trying to see what we can do to streamline that and make it so it's more accessible. So there are at least 2 other things that are major that are going to be coming in the September update, but I can't talk about them for about 2 weeks. That's a sneak peek, and I think that's some of the stuff that you guys have been waiting to. So now that we have Serafina back, let's talk about Q&A. There are some questions that I need to answer for you guys, so let's get to it.
There's a lot of questions. So on what you were just talking about, I saw questions, so let's start with those.
Okay.
Did you talk about the glow controls that you've tossed out to see if we can do?
Talked about what?
The glow controls, as in you can turn on and off glows or stones.
Well,
yes.
So in September I mentioned that weapons will now have this kind of glow effect that reflect their grade. We've made the request to enable or disable that, and then enable or disable Lunafrost, because what we've seen in some of the testing of that is that if you have a weapon that is of a bright grade like legendary, and that orange color is really prominent, and then you have a Lunastone on top of that, it's like this lightsaber thing. And while that's cool for some people, that may not be cool for all people, especially on the type of rig and the hardware that you're using. So we've made the request to enable or disable glows. We're working on that. It might not be in for September, but that's definitely something we're considering.
I want all the glows.
See, we're looking at the problems before they happen, right? Like if everybody's running around with lightsabers and no one can move, that's a bad experience. So we need to plan ahead for that.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, if you're dual wielding, will both weapons glow?
Yes.
Oh.
Woohoo!
Yep.
And there will be different colors depending on what the weapon's at, right?
That's correct.
And it's going to
And they look cool as hell. I mean, it still looks like the same. You can still see the model underneath the weapon, but it has like this aura around it, and it just kind of resonates with power. It's pretty badass.
Yeah. I just see note, not been a cross-server underwear. That is...
I don't recommend sharing your underwear. They're really kind of just for you. I mean, you should be concerned with crafting your own underwear, so definitely don't share your underwear cross-server.
I'd be interested if
That's
you
a
have
pro
to
tip.
wash it.
Oh, jeez. Washing the
Use
underwear.
the soap, right?
I'm going to grab some questions, too, from chat. Ionod salvages. So part of the September update does add a salvage alternative. We're not ready to talk about it yet, but we know your concerns. We see it in the chat. It's something that, I see frequently. So thinking about it, don't have a final confirmation for you guys yet.
For the EU servers, this has come up a lot because I hear that one guild in particular on Shattercon has been doing this a lot, and that's green pirating, aka coming in, bloodlusting, taking packs, Draught of Forgiveness to get out of it, and then looping that over and over again. I think some people are concerned, is there any changes coming to like the Draught of Forgiveness system or crime points to sort of punish that behavior or change that type of behavior?
It's not something that has been brought up too much, but it's something that we've kind of considered just from running it. The way that the jury system works, the penalties, the amount of minutes, all that sort of thing has pretty been static since launch. At launch, loyalty was a much more rare commodity. The only way you could get it was 5 a day for patron. We've had other ways to get loyalty now introduced from some events, so those potions are definitely becoming more available, and of course they are in Archeum crates. So we need to adjust that, and from what I've seen, there are inherent changes in 3.0, the Korean version, that determines and increases the length of time that people are jailed for and the ability to kind of affect how you can mitigate your crime points. So it's not near time for us. It won't be around September update or anything, but it's definitely something we're considering.
Cool. Will you guys be addressing Battle Rage in the upcoming patches?
So those people who have kind of reviewed what XL has done over the last week and read update notes have noticed some changes that have been made to Battle Rage with the 3.0B update. But I'll let you guys just kind of figure that out and read it. We're nowhere near ready to talk about that or introduce it, but there is information on the forums. And the general consensus that I've seen so far is Battle Rage players are not as happy as they once were.
I heard that as well, as a matter of fact. I think there's a lot of balance changes on 3.0B that are being discussed right now.
Yep.
And without even touching it, people have opinions immediately, right? So we'll be getting that more information on a lot of stuff in the
Yep, and we have this habit of just like gloom and dooming things, right? Like we see one change and, oh my God, this class is total crap now. And, you know, we just make these assumptions. Really, we need to see it. And that's why I'm not prepared to talk about it yet, because all I'm reading right now is what you guys have seen. We have a 3.0 build, but it doesn't have the latest changes on it. So yeah, I'm not prepared to talk about that yet or even comment on it. But yeah, I mean, one small change and the reaction is just like probably exaggerated. So
and I know that people feel that same way about other areas of 3.0. I've got a lot of messages or worried messages being like, are the vocation changes happening? Is this really true?
Yeah,
is this like, like...
At least half of the stuff I've read are mistranslations as well. So I'm looking at that going, oh man, they think it's this way and it's not, and it puts me in a tough place because I want to correct it. It's my inherent thing to just come out and say, hey, this is not the way it is. It should be like that. But I mean, I need to be more confident in what I see. I'm just going off of, reading the patch notes and then having it professionally translated and see what's going on, or testing it in a build. So yeah, just remember, I mean, that's just general guidelines. When you see a change, like let's see how the change actually plays out before we kind of react to it.
Yeah.
Yep. Is there any new information on the changes to the trade pack reset timer percentage?
No changes from what I've seen.
Okay. Will we ever get account bound stuff in the game?
It's a request that we've made. There's this huge, massive list of requests that we've made. They've been prioritized based on ability to do it. Things like teleport book, extending family size, right? These are all requests that we've had for a long time. And man, it does take a long time because we fit them into the design schedule. We kind of lobby to Excel what is our most important critical things. So account bound items are something that would be great. I mean, it would solve this whole problem of the divine clock, right? Or talking to an NPC, or getting an item through mail and it going to the wrong character. Like, those are things that we've always been concerned with. And I'd say about a year ago, we said we would like account-bound things. So if it gets delivered to the wrong character, you have the ability to swap it between your characters. That's a very functional way. And then once we have that sort of base level, we can do more things with it. But it's still in a request form, and it's definitely not a trivial thing to do for the XL team.
Yep. When am I going to stop falling through the floor in the Enoian Galleon?
Oh man, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Again, that's like a sea-level bug currently, so hopefully... I know that XL has commented it on our bug. They verified it's the case. It's somewhere in their production chain to fix, but I don't have timing on that.
Yep.
Stay away from the mesh.
Yeah, the mesh, yeah. Have library bounty quests permanently been removed from the game?
Yes. The reason they were removed is because in most regions, those quests were completed by bots more commonly than normal players. So they've been removed.
Permanently?
Yep.
That's that. All right.
That's not to say that there will not be any future library quests that accomplish the same sort of thing, but for now, they were more harm than they were help.
Yep. Is there a reason event timers cannot be more dynamic than they currently are? And I think that this poster who wrote this was like, well, couldn't they change per day and like slowly rotate so that everyone gets a chance at the events, basically?
What's possible and what's actually there are two different things. I think that from a design perspective, if we could go back and say, hey, XL team, sometime, this is Future Merv contacting you, sometime in the future, like 3 years from now, you'll be wishing that there were more functionality built into the way that events can be managed in the game. Because we'll see things like events turn off and on at the wrong times, or the schedule is not as flexible as we'd like it to be. So if we could go back and Future Merv could tell them that, hey, these are things that we should consider. The overarching code that governs those sorts of things would be more flexible. The biggest challenge is right now is that it's very much hard-coded and not flexible. So we're going back and kind of redesigning systems, and what you guys see as a change to a system is actually a complete redesign of that system that mimics the old version but adds more functionality. So that's kind of like a look at the guts, really, and yeah, I mean, we would love to have greater control over the way that we schedule events. And we don't wish it was this 2-month-long process.
Why do some of the hidden quests, like find the bard or collect 50 zodiac leaves in like different festivals, not work in our version of the game?
We asked about that. So there's a set of achievements that the bard can produce, like by interacting with him at certain events. We mentioned that the bard appears in our events, but there's no really, like, he doesn't give rewards, or there's no achievements that you can potentially get an instrument from. So what we've done is ask the XL team how we can use that bard content and maybe make those achievements matter, or if we can have them in the future. So we've recognized that and have made a request.
For now, you can kill him in that firework festival at the end of the month.
Indeed.
Take some of that frustration out.
Indeed. And now I see some people asking about 3.0. Again, as we said earlier, we really can't answer very much about 3.0 as of yet. And as we get closer, we can be more able to do that.
I will talk about it briefly, though.
Okay.
So we have a couple shows coming up, Gamescom and PAX. Those are really kind of our chance to explain what's coming up in our future. We will absolutely be talking about 3.0. So over the next month, you will kind of see more guidelines around what our potential launch target dates are, if we will be doing fresh servers, fresh start servers, you know, even things like merges. We plan to talk about that over the next month. And kind of our stance on that still is, you know, we have servers that have lower population, and you can transfer off of them, but there will be a time where we need to discuss the future of those servers. So a lot of that news, and I see these questions coming up in chat, will be discussed over the next month at some of these events, and then of course we'll relay it to you as soon as the announcements have been made.
Yep. So this is sort of like a few. Will mounts ever be denormalized? Let's do that one first.
Probably not. From what I've seen, that's just a conversation that we've beaten the hell out of and has gone nowhere very fast. So what we've seen is maybe future mounts may gain some capabilities that break the mold a little bit, but in general, you know, it's just kind of the way it is. It's been like that for, what, 2 years now? So.
Yep. And will event timers be moved again when we leave daylight savings time?
No, event timers are based on UTC, and that's a time zone that doesn't change based on any sort of savings times. So what you will see is the event schedule will shift an hour forward or back depending on where we're at. But we do plan after the first month that the events are active. We want to take your guys' feedback, like the current feedback on the NA forum about how you'd like events to be later. We'll actually see what the attendance is like during these events, and we have a little bit more flexibility if we need to adjust it month over month.
Yep. And then finally, let's look towards 2 future-facing questions, which I saved for the end. Chrome Submarine Pet, the bubble air item, does not create bubble air for the second passenger. Do you know if this bug will be fixed?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
It's a very specific
what about submarine
question.
speeds? How about that one?
I actually don't know enough about how that would work for the second passenger on a submarine. In my personal experience, I've only been the only person on my submarine. I could see why that would matter. I recommend clicking a Dahuda's bubble.
Yes. What about submarine speeds?
I talked about it briefly while you were
away.
hiding on the internet somewhere. But yeah, I mentioned that our goal with September of increasing submarine speed through the tail fin at first, and maybe even base movement speed. There's a lot of cool stuff on your screen, Sock. What is that?
So we finally got back into game. I'm sorry for
Yay.
the long wait. So those are some of the rewards from the fireworks festival that I really wanted to show you guys. We're gonna talk about the event as it gets closer, just because it's fairly far away for now. But it's just really cool. So I wanted to show you guys those nesting dolls, which I really, really love. They're cute as they are by themselves, but the really cool thing about it is that you will be able to UCC them. So you can put whatever you want image on those nesting dolls.
Great. Wonderful.
Someone
I
tried to put my
prepared
face
some,
on
but
them.
it wasn't working on this build yet, unfortunately.
Please don't UCC Future Merv onto your nesting
I
dolls. Thank you.
I did, and
No,
Future's
please.
Illustrata.
Don't.
Or like
Totally
there's some
did.
picture floating around with me in like Gamescom attire or something.
Yes, I wanted to put that on there too.
Come on.
I don't know
sometime
what
in the
photo
future. I'll
that
make sure
is.
it's like laying around somewhere once we get to the event in detail.
All right, sorry, I got distracted by these cool decor, but I want to stick to Q&A
Okay.
for now. So let's ask more questions if we have them.
Next, we're actually out of questions. I have one last one from the chat, and that is: are we considering re-implementing the bounty hunting option that KR had at one point?
The bounty hunting option that
Yeah, where you can get the bounty hunter cloak and actually go bounty hunt bots.
so that like this is I don't know, a kind of a situation that I think is cool. Like when you hear about that, you're like, yeah, I'm this badass bounty hunter. I'm going to kill all the bots. But then in reality, it's like ArcheAge and the open world sandboxy nature of it basically just means, all right, guys, everybody in my guild get a bounty hunter cloak and grief the hell out of that person. So that's not really good. And we need to make sure if we ever did a situation like that again, it couldn't be as easily manipulated. There's plenty of brigading activity in the game right now that, you know, people say similar things about like hero voting. It's that same sort of like, we need to have systems in place that prevent those sorts of things if we want to have that kind of fun.
Last question: the pricing of Tier 7 Obsidian materials, which we've talked about a couple times before. You know, Kadum's Bark versus the Missong option as well.
Foresting, yeah.
Is there any news on that? I know we've been talking about it.
Sorry, repeat again for me. I was busy reading chat.
Oh, it's okay. It is. Is there any new information on the cost between Tier 7 Obsidian materials, such as Kadum's Bark or the Missong map, basically?
I haven't seen anything like that in the September update. I'm not sure if 3.0 will influence that at all yet. But, I mean, those same concerns are still valid, even more so. I think a lot of the early people who are making a push for those weapons kind of arrived at a point where they either buckled down and ran Missong Summit a ton of times, or, you know, bought Kadum stuff off the auction house, or however they proceeded. But I mean, that's something that eventually needs to be at scale and more viable for a larger audience to use, and even people to upgrade their off-spec gear similarly. So that's something that I would absolutely like to see. I think it's too difficult still the way it is.
Yep. And that's it. We are actually out of time, so we have to do giveaways like right now.
Okay, I'm going to do it. We're going to roll for the Siege Ram Taurus mount. We're going to give away 5 of them. So I'll give you guys a moment to X up.
I'm getting chased by a Daru.
I'm going to just keep grabbing stuff from chat.
Go for
Family upgrades. There's definitely awesome systems that are included in the 3.0 update for families. We'll talk about that probably in a couple months. I know there's a couple threads on it right now. There's some really great family content coming out. So, yeah.
All very, very exciting.
My plan to answer questions from chat while you guys X was not well thought out.
Because everyone's
I
Xing.
can't read anything.
Will we get tags for the different servers? Ah, look at that. See, I can catch that one going
Okay,
past.
tags for different servers. It depends. If we change everything away from a legendary server, yes, we will.
All right. Will we have ever optional servers like PvP or PvE servers? Like
If they
actual
work
PvP
decently,
servers?
yes. I mean, there's inherent challenges with those servers, like ArcheAge economy challenges for specifically the Korean PvP server. And it just comes from people who like PvPing, don't like doing other activities that are needed to kind of sustain a fair economy in ArcheAge. So if we ever manage to work out things like that and it goes better, we'll do it. We have the advantage of Korea kind of launching things ahead of time, and then we can see how it actually plays out and then make changes if it's good or bad. I can safely say that's why we don't have an official PvP Curios style server like they have.
Mm-hmm.
All right, first Siege Ram Taurus goes to Captain Nimuki.
Nimuki?
Yes.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
All right, number 2 goes to Weeaboo Forever.
Weeaboo
How
forever?
long? Forever. All right, number 3, Siege Ram Taurus goes to Toes 25.
Toes.
That's way too many toes. Should only have 10.
You should see a doctor.
Number 4, Siege Ram Taurus goes to Ixeroll. Ixeroll.
Nice. Congrats.
One more. Good luck, everybody. Siege Ram Taurus is the last one. Number 5 goes to Morkan, or Mr. Orkin. Sorry, Mr. Orkin, congratulations.
Except for World Boss.
Are you going to kill that Daru?
No,
Oh, no.
I'm too weak. I can't do it by myself.
Getting your daily done.
Yeah,
Got it.
exactly.
I don't think anybody's going to X, though, because there's no one on that server but you.
Oh,
So you better one-shot that
Sad.
thing.
So empty.
I
All right,
can't.
is that it?
I think
Good.
that's it. We've given away 5 Siege Ram Tarses. Hopefully we've answered a good amount of questions for you guys. I'm really happy that I got a chance to give you guys some insight on the September update. It's really exciting, and there's some great quality of life stuff coming in then. If you guys didn't have a chance to catch that segment, it kind of was thrown in and rushed, and that's due to just some technical issues, but if you watch the recap, you'll see it. Just like to thank you guys for hanging out with us today, and I hope you have a great weekend. Again, next week, we're in Gamescom in Germany, so we won't be on the stream.
Come and say hi if you're there, though, please.
Yes.
But we will be the following week.
Yeah, we'll be back.
And we'll be
Not
talking,
next week, but the week after.
talking more about September then.
Cool. All right, thank you guys. Don't go away. Atlas Reactor is next.
Yep, take care. See you
Have a
guys.
good weekend.